My name's Adam Manaka and I'm the Financial Controller for Hi-Tech Oils. With our national capacity, we can now service Australian companies nationwide. Of late, we have now expanded into the New Zealand market. Here at Hi-Tech Oils, we receive premium base oils and premium additive packs. Together, with our highly trained staff, we manufacture over 500 premium quality products. Hi-Tech Oils is Australian made and Australian owned.
On today's show, we return to the Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit in Victoria for our continued penultimate round coverage of the Shannons Nationals, featuring the Australian Prototype Series and the Australian Production Cars Series. Then we head over to the UK and to the Brands Hatch circuit for the opening 3 rounds of the Dunlop MSA British Touring Car Championship. This is Speedweek.
G'day everyone, welcome to the stunning Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit. It's the 6th and penultimate round of the Shannons Australian Motor Racing Nationals. Cracking weekend of racing, and gee, this has been a good series this year.
Well, fantastic to see father-son combinations in any sport, but motor racing, it's fairly rare, and we've got Jack and David Crampton here with us today who are driving in the Prototype Series. And David, must be a bit of an honour and a bit of a pleasure to be driving with your son.
Oh, it's an amazing feeling. You know, yesterday or in practice at the start of the weekend, seeing him down the straight in front of me was just nearly brought a tear to the eye. Yeah. It's good. It's a fantastic thing that I'm actually doing it, but to get Jack in beside me, racing in the same series, really proud of him.
Have you ever thought that this would actually happen? Was it something that you guys had planned?
I actually hadn't planned on it. I was lucky enough to be in a position to buy a new car this year, and so the second, we didn't want to sell the old one, so Jack's had the opportunity to race. This is his second race meeting, so yeah, and he's done really well.
How are you finding getting your head around the Radical?
Yeah, it took a few track days to get used to it, and still getting used to it as well, but getting the hang of it slowly.
And Jack, for you, was the path, did you start off in go-karts and work your way through, or?
Oh, never racing, just the hire karts and a bit of motorbike riding, and just jumped in, really.
We're going to start today with Prototype Series, second race for them, final round of the season for these guys, and a pretty interesting race yesterday with Phil Hughes taking the win.
Yeah, Phil Hughes came of age yesterday as a race car driver. He's always fancied himself as a mechanic, and he has been. His credentials are second to none in GT racing around the world. He bought this car on screen right now, the red and yellow old SR3 Radical with Alan Simonson, with the thought of going racing together with it, just a bit of hit and giggle type racing, and fantastic to see Phil getting across the line and getting that victory. And he'll start on pole position with Aaron Steer right next to him, so a mixture of both the Radical and the West.
And of course Aaron Steer subbing for John Paul Drake this weekend. Chris Sutton in third spot on the grid, Jared Ruff behind him, and then Mark Laucke, our series leader, will start out position 5. David Crampton started out of pit lane yesterday and got up to 6. Scott McKay, Jack Crampton, Terry Peovitis, who came off the sick bed to actually race, didn't do the qualifying session. Philip Tan is in position 10.
Now, Phil Hughes will have done plenty of these, talking with Alan Simonson through the start of a race. They are lined up very well, so we are set for a start. That's Mark Laucke. He is in the championship lead, starting out of 5th with some Radicals in front of him in wet is not ideal. In fact, if he was wishing, he'd be wanting that to be him out in front and it be dry conditions. And away they go, given the green lights. They charge down into the Bass Strait abyss. And there it is, the bright red and yellow car of Phil Hughes leading them through, but it's the Rubik's Cube that's going to go round the outside. Aaron Steers stays brave, tucks in behind Hughes, and this is where we see the drive line, if you like, of the Radical start to come into play here. We see the sports racer type Wests. They've got a chain-driven type drive line, whereas the Radical has a Quaife type disc, so a full sort of motorsport type limited slip differential. And we're just watching Aaron Steer battling with that at the moment. Have a look at that spray off into the white. Not even fog light's going to do that for you through there.
Yeah, Chris Sutton looks like he's trying to go down the inside of Aaron Steer down to turn 4. One of them runs a bit wide. One of the Cramptons, we've got a father and son running here this weekend. The number 3 car with David Crampton and the number 333 car driven by young Jack. And now Crampton takes a spot off car number 88. That's Jeff Ruff. Now, Jeff Ruff yesterday picked up 2 spots in the last 2 laps of the race.
He did
get
charged
up to into 4th position in the end, knocking our series leader back to 5th.
Mark Laucke's losing positions here at the moment. He's going right back through the field at the moment, and Phil Hughes is driving away. This is in fact what Phil has to do. He has to basically win both these races today to be in any sort of contention. He led the first half of the season after dominating round 1 in the wet at Sandown. We're watching both the Crampton vehicles there. Number 3 is Dave Crampton. And
333.
The 333 is Jack Crampton.
Yeah, so get that right eventually.
They look just about exactly the same. There's Chris Sutton, the number 35, who's also in championship contention in his Radical.
Moved from 3rd position to 2nd position in the points, and actually qualified fastest yesterday. He had to go back to the pits and change his own tyres because it started off fairly wet, and he went out after he changed his tyres and put it on pole position. How good was that? Right at the end of the session.
That's a tough session, that is. Getting in and out of your car, doing all of that. That's hard work. I think it was only 3 laps ultimately in the end that got him there, but he did very well. Look at that. There's the Radical just driving right round the outside at turn 2. Almost unheard of. Aaron Steer takes the road, which is his, but certainly Chris Sutton letting him know he's there. G'day, mate. I'm here. I'm going wide, and I've got all the grip in the world to hang on.
I think he had to wave to let him know that he was there, but Aaron Steer's not going to let him have it easy, is he?
No. And he doesn't have to either. He's got to get past. This is car racing. That's what it's all about.
And there goes Sutton into 2nd position as they exit turn 4 and head towards Siberia. It's interesting that we see that our series leader, Mark Laucke, back in 9th position at the moment. Not what he wanted this weekend.
Here's a replay coming down at lap 2. This is Sutton down the inside of Aaron Steer, and he's made that stick.
Phil Hughes
Good move.
is actually driving away with this at the moment. 10.6 seconds up the road, and we're only just completed the 2nd lap.
Aaron Steer, we can see he's struggling now with the charging Dave Crampton. This is what the story with prototype racing has been. Dry, Wests disappear off into the distance. 1 litre, chain driven, very aero, very slick through the air package. Wet, the Radicals, a little bit more weight. A limited slip type drive line helps that horrendously. So fantastically, not horrendously, but really does help the result come that way with that limited slip diff. And we're just seeing that now. And the sun's actually come out trackside here. And yesterday, once we saw the sun get on the track, it was about 10 minutes later, the track was dry, and then the West started to come right back at them. I think it's going to be a bit late because at 11.2 second lead for Phil Hughes, it's going to take a long time.
Yeah, we haven't had any actual rain during this race. This all happened, the wet weather happened before the event started, so it's just a wash-off, I guess you could say, from that. And at the moment, the prediction is that we won't get any more rain today, but I'll have to wait and see on that one.
Yeah, we sort of thought that late yesterday, and there was a couple of late downpours out there as well. This is Jarrett Ruff just coming out in the CRC Industries car. Back to Aaron Steer now. This is for 3rd and 4th on the road. 7 laps still to go. And I've got the feeling this battle is going to rage because Phil Hughes is already down the straight as we catch the back end of the prototypes. Down the inside it will be running to turn 1. Aaron Steer looks up there. And he looks to make it stick, but he can't.
He does. David Crampton goes around the outside of him into turn 1.
And makes it work.
And we've got Radicals running 1, 2 and 3. We knew this would be the case on a wet track, and it's proved to be right now. Jared Ruff is the one that's come right into picture frame at the moment too. He made a great second half race yesterday to come from about 6th or 7th position to get up to 4th. And he looks like he's on a bit of a charge again today.
Jarrett Ruff is acquitting himself very well this year. We hadn't seen a lot of him on the national scene with the prototypes until this year. At Winton, he really came of age. Looked up the inside there of Aaron Steer. If you're going to make a move in prototype racing on Aaron Steer, you want to make it stick, because he'll punish you if you don't get all the way through on him. And that's what he's doing at the moment, taking a very wide line through Siberia in the number 66. Phil Hughes' fastest lap in this race, 1:44.8. He's nearly 2 seconds clear a lap faster than anyone else out there. Chris Sutton has done a 1:46.4. Dave Crampton a 1:46.8. Then we go to the west, and the best lap there is Jarrett Ruff on a 1:48.3. Mark Laucke's fought back very strongly, but his best lap is a 1:50. So he's back up into P6 at the moment, as we see Chris Sutton plunge down into MG corner, which can be tough in these wet conditions. But that resurface that the track had a couple of years ago got rid of all of those rivers that used to run across the track. Not rivers, but certainly an annoying creek going across the track all the way around here. There was 2 or 3 of them. Nothing now.
I bet you when you hit it felt like a river.
Yeah, well, in one of these it would feel nice and low to the ground. He used to aquaplane around there, but we don't see that anymore, and that's why in the wet we're seeing a lot better straight line speed down the straight. And it's ultra critical to get the drive all the way out of turn 9, around 11 and 12 for your terminal speed right here where Chris Sutton is now, at around about 255, 258 in a radical in a west.
It's interesting seeing David Crampton here. We've got Scott McKay off. That's the car that won the series last year in the hands of Roger Ianson. This year run by Scott McKay, who's having his second outing for the season. First ran that car at Sydney Motorsport Park back in July.
It's Philip Tan, just quickly. Great to see Philip joining the National Series, and a great inclusion there in the Bayside Dental Specialists outfit.
Yeah, he's I guess you'd call him a specialist dentist, and Philip first ran in this series at Winton and had respectable results for his first outing. And now we've got Jack Crampton coming up on the back of Mark Laucke. Mark Laucke not having a very good time of it out here at the moment. I think there must have been a bit of a timing issue with that car earlier, because it has been running back as around 6th, and at one stage it sort of dropped right off, but it certainly hasn't lost position as far as we could see until about now.
Yeah, Mark Laucke had regained this spot about a lap or 2 ago on Jack Crampton, but Jack Crampton's not letting him go, and he's actually darting left and right, just letting him know he's there, and really challenging for it. Just seeing off the back of the track now that, there's Laucke, championship leader, spins, and that's going to be very hard to recover from, because it is wet, and we just saw it, the spray coming out of the bottom of the car. Now Mark is rummaging around in the gearbox for first gear. He's going to need it. The fire's lit, we can tell that.
So it stalled initially when he spun off.
Laucke all by himself put the wheels up on the ripple strip, the course painted there, slipped over the back, and basically they just dispensed with him. Jam Motorsport sticker just behind the front wheel there. Laucke Flour Mills, the South Australian. Terry Peovitis going down a lap here. This is interesting in the FL1. Car number 4 going down a lap. He's been in pretty much outright contention all year, sort of around about the 3rd to 5th mark. Just not enjoying these conditions.
Yeah, he said, well, he's not well, as we spoke about earlier, misqualifying, and basically just got out of bed, came and raced and went again.
Have a look at this. Mark Laucke now weighing in on the field. He's going down a lap.
Yep.
But just trying... I hope he was trying to get out of the way of Aaron Steer there, that's for sure. He's getting out of the way of these guys now. He realises he's not in contention. Lets Jarrett Ruff through. Jack Crampton, maybe not letting him through. He's going to go with him on this one. So Jarrett Ruff's looking at him saying, well, come on, Mark, we know you're quick, but you're not really in this race. But Mark Laucke is trying to secure some points whatever he can.
There's a good profile of the 2 different West models that are out there this weekend. The older car is the blue one, of course, and the newer car is the yellow and black and orange car, as a Radical gets in on the act as well.
Phil Hughes is on his last lap, our race leader, as that's Laucke streaming down into turn 1. Take him out of the equation. In fact, he's giving the guys the wave through there. He's realised that 2 of them are on him now, and ever the gentleman, and in fact he's probably one of the most gentlemanly racers you'll find out there, right up until that last lap and he's in contention. Then
yeah, I've never seen him without a smile on his face.
Correct.
So even when he won the series 2 years ago and had all those dramas, had an accident, had all sorts of gearbox issues, what have you, no shift lights for a lot of the season, never actually didn't have a smile on his face.
Yeah, he's one of those kind of guys that even a bad day at the racetrack kills a good day in the office, that's for sure. Sliding through turn 4 there as our race leader coming around. Well, this is going to be his second victory for the weekend. Phillip Hughes, ladies and gentlemen, the motor mechanic out of Braeside here in Melbourne, streams around the top end of the track. If you want a guide to look after your Ferrari during the week, he's your man. But at the moment, he's looking after race wins for Phil Hughes and his family across the line. Last lap round, over 8 seconds to Chris Sutton. Dave Crampton, Aaron Steer, the first of the non-radical runners in his WX10. Then it's Jarrett Ruff, Jack Crampton, Philip Tan, Scott McKay, the Victorian, Terry Peovitis and Mark Laucke getting to the line 2 laps down there in 10th place.
Yeah, good. I mean, the start was critical, and I gave Aaron a hard time. I pushed him in the wet bit, and yeah, stuck to my guns. And then, yeah, just a bit like yesterday's race, just pushed the gap while it was greasy, and hope I could hang on for the dry, but it didn't dry much, so I was all right. Yeah.
Well, the Rainmeisters, they are going to possibly win this if I don't finish the next race, and I've got to finish in a good position, so it's as simple as that. If it doesn't rain, I've got a better chance. If it does rain, it's all up to me, and I just know I'm in trouble.
Great year of prototype racing, Gaz. Here's the replay.
Some highlights from that last race today. Of course, our front runner started on the wet tyres and would pay the penalty, and as we see here, one of the ones on the dry tyres was the Formula 1000 of Terry Peovitis. He goes through another close battle here between the radicals, and unfortunately Chris Sutton speared off at turn 2, but gassed it up, got it through the gravel trap and out the other side. Lost a few seconds out of that one, but regained them for a tight finish towards the end.
And if I know Will Orders is here because the family's down here this weekend. You want to go and see Chris Sutton and see if you can get him into the RX Oz racing.
And coming down the checkered flag, Aaron Steer brings it home in the Rubik's Cube.
Yes, I must admit I climbed up and on the top of the pedestrian overpass and quite illegally stood, no, you didn't hear me say that, stood up as high as I could and had a really good look and watched what was happening with the GTs, and I could see that it was going to end up with a dry line for us. So yes, it was, few of us started on slicks and it was the right choice. Well, hey, we're here to race after all, aren't we? So I just made sure I kept the car really tidy, and as the dry line developed, I made sure I stayed on it, and I was just very careful overtaking people. So really, it was less risky for me, I thought, to be on slicks than it would be to be on wets.
We're going to take a break because we go into the Australian Production Car Series in just a few moments.